Delighted the former Deputy Prime Minister, Lord Heseltine, is with us now. Michael Heseltine. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Lord Heseltine, I wonder if you could tell me what you think about this. I mean, you've been no friend of Boris Johnson. You haven't. You've been very much against his pro-Brexit stance, obviously, over many years. What do you make of what the report of the Privileges Committee says?
Well, it's a black and white conclusion on the most serious allegation that you can hurl at a member of the House of Commons and the government. He has lied to Parliament. He knew what he was doing, and he didn't care. And in parliamentary terms, there is no more serious thing to do. And so the committee, which is a majority of his own party of Conservatives, have produced what is frankly a damning report. They can only recommend to the House of Commons itself what they believe to be appropriate. And on Monday, the House of Commons will vote. It's quite apparent that there is no support for Boris Johnson on any scale.
That's an interesting point, isn't it, Lord Heseltine? Because a number of people, I think there were 7 MPs I counted anyway, who came out and said that they supported Boris Johnson. But there are over 350 Conservative MPs, and actually, when he was giving his oral evidence to the Privileges Committee and went to vote on the Windsor Framework, there were only 29 MPs who voted against that. Of course, a number of more abstained as well. But do you think this is the end? It's certainly the end of his parliamentary career for the moment anyway. But in terms of support for Boris Johnson in the Conservative Parliamentary Party, do you think there's any way back, or is this it for him?
Well, I can't believe myself that a Conservative Member of Parliament is going to support a condemned liar as a Member of Parliament, and even worse, as leader of the Conservative Party. I just can't countenance that thought.
What should Rishi Sunak do you think, on Monday? Because there may or may not be...
He should vote for the committee report.
Is there not a political risk in that, do you think? I mean, Rishi Sunak has talked about integrity in politics and so on, but what about the risk to him in terms of his own leadership?
No, but you've just answered the question in what you said. He has made a very important statement about the return of integrity in politics. And This is the heart of the matter. And there aren't ifs and buts and halfways and compromises. This is a black and white issue.
Yeah. So you've no sympathy for Boris Johnson at all in terms of his 1,600-word response to this. Some people watching this might say, well, you would say that, wouldn't you, Lord Heseltine?
Well, I hope that they do say that, because it shows that they believe that I'm consistent in what I say and believe in what I say. So someone who says he would say it, wouldn't he, is merely reflecting what I hope my reputation is. But if you were to ask me about Boris's achievement, reputation, you have to realise that I've worked for every Conservative leader since Churchill.
Yes.
There is one consistent view, and that is that Britain's imperial past is over, and we are essentially a European nation. And as the world shrinks and giant nations emerge with vast resources and huge markets, we have to see Britain's self-interest. And first, as an objection of the concept of war, because Europe is about stopping war. That's where it all came from in my early lifetime. There's only one place for us to go, and that is Europe.
That's not what Boris Johnson believes, certainly, and of course there was a majority of people who voted for Brexit. But Lord Heseltine, perhaps not on that issue, but just if I could ask you one more question, which is just what you think Boris Johnson should do now.
Before you say a majority voted, a tiny majority, and now public opinion is quite different and realises that Brexit has failed. Even Nigel Farage tells us Brexit has failed. there is a consensus in the media that Brexit has failed. So going on about what the people were deceived to believe in 60, 70 years ago is quite irrelevant anymore. The public have been lied to. They know it. They see through it. They want change.
Okay, and just finally on Boris Johnson, what do you think he should do now? He'll remain a figure in national life. Of course, you have had a very successful you're not a post-political career, you're still a member of the House of Lords, but in terms of his post-prime ministerial career, do you think he can continue to have influence even beyond high office?
It is conceivable that there are people who will listen. People who are prepared to listen to someone who has lied consistently. But I don't know those sort of people, and I cannot believe that there is any serious prospect of Boris Johnson ever recovering any sorts of integrity.
Okay, Lord Heseltine, thank you very much indeed. Appreciate you speaking to us this morning. That was Michael Heseltine, the former Deputy Prime Minister.